Have you ever wondered, why do some people work hard their entire lives yet always worry about money? Meanwhile, others, who aren't flashy or constantly grinding, seem to grow their wealth effortlessly. They take more vacations. They're not stressed about inflation or losing their jobs. They live freely, while others worry about bills, debts, and daily survival. The strange thing is, they seem to play by a completely different set of financial rules. There's a truth you were never taught in school, something the truly wealthy understand, but ordinary people are never warned about. Not all assets make you richer. Some assets may look smart, but quietly drain your wealth. Sounds hard to believe, because these are the same assets that your financial advisor praises as smart choices, your family repeats as timeless wisdom, and maybe you're currently owning or dreaming of owning. So here's the big question. How can you tell the difference between tangible assets and sugar-coated traps? Why do the rich avoid the things most people work hard to buy? Warren Buffett once said something profound. What the wise do in the beginning, fools do in the end. The problem is, most of us copy too early and incorrectly. We think we're investing wisely by buying a second home. We think we're saving safely by leaving hundreds of millions in a savings account. We think we're rewarding ourselves by buying a brand new car in cash. We think we're chasing freedom by starting a business, but end up replacing our old boss with ourselves. Modern society's financial story is full of contradictions. We work more, earn more, but save less. We own more assets, but feel more financially stressed each month. The harder we try, the deeper we fall into the cycle. Income goes up, expenses go up, risks go up. The deeper reason isn't that you're not intelligent or hardworking enough. It's because you're playing by the financial rules of the crowd while the rich play by their own. So, what are their rules? They follow one core principle. A real asset pays you every month. If it doesn't generate cash flow, it's not an asset. Simple, right? But it flips everything you've been taught. Think about it. That vacation home you bought but rarely use, not an asset. That savings account earning 0.5% interest while inflation is 3%, quietly making you poorer. That shiny new car from the showroom loses 20% in value the moment it leaves the lot. That business you started but can't take a week off from, you've just built yourself a golden cage. All these things are labeled smart by society, praised on social media, yet they don't move you any closer to financial freedom. I know this isn't easy to hear, but you're not here to be comforted. You're here to change how you think about money. And once you shift your perspective, you'll see there are only two kinds of assets in this world. Assets that look smart but keep you dependent on money. Assets that are humble but powerful. The more you own, the freer you become. In this video, we'll uncover 7 of the most common fake smart assets. They're not exotic investments. They're things many people own and regret. And the last one? It's the most dangerous of them all because it doesn't just burn money. It also damages your closest relationships. The goal isn't to make you give up on all assets, it's to help you see clearly which assets serve you and which ones you are serving. You don't need to work 10 more years just to stay afloat. What you need is to change the way you choose your assets. Starting today. If you choose wrongly, no matter how skilled or hardworking you are, you can still end up broke. So keep an open mind. Some of what you hear in this video might sting a little. You might already own some of the things I'm about to expose, but that's precisely why you need to watch until the end. Now let's dive into asset number 1, an investment once hailed as the golden path to wealth for decades. But if misunderstood, it could become the anchor that sinks your finances. Is buying real estate that doesn't generate cash flow a smart move? Stay tuned to find out. You were probably taught that real estate is always a wise investment, right? Just buy land or a house, it will increase in value. Real estate never loses value. It's the sure path to wealth. Sounds familiar? Your parents believed it, your friends are chasing it, and chances are You dream of buying a second home to invest in your future. But take a moment to pause. If the property you buy doesn't generate monthly cash flow, it's not an asset. It's a financial anchor painted in gold. It may look luxurious, but it's quietly dragging you down into a sea of debt, taxes, and maintenance costs you don't even notice. It may sound counterintuitive, but this is a truth the wealthy have always understood. Not every piece of real estate makes you rich. Only properties that create positive cash flow are actual assets. There's a common psychological trap, thinking that a beautiful home is automatically an asset. Imagine you buy a lakeside villa because it's beautiful and likely to appreciate. You don't rent it out. You use it maybe twice a year. The rest of the time, it sits empty. On paper, you own a high-end asset. In reality, you're paying for maintenance, taxes, insurance, cleaning, repairs, depreciation, and maybe even worrying about roof leaks during the rainy season. In the US, the average home costs over $9,000 a year in hidden ownership expenses. Over 10 years, that's more than $90,000 without earning a single dollar in return. Let's look at the story of Linda and David. Two decisions, two financial outcomes. Linda, 40, lives in Seattle. She used her savings to buy a small wooden cabin in the Oregon mountains. She planned to use it for occasional getaways and hopefully sell it later for a profit. 5 years later, she had spent nearly $55,000 repairing the roof, dealing with pests, and clearing snow from the driveway. She paid thousands more in annual taxes and insurance, and she never managed to rent it out. It was too remote to attract guests. Meanwhile, David, who is also 40, lives in Denver. He had the same savings as Linda, but chose to buy a 2-bedroom apartment near a university and rent it to students. Let's do the math. Purchase price, $180,000. Rental income, $1,400 per month. Expenses, taxes, maintenance, management, depreciation, approximately $800 per month. Net profit, $600 per month, or $7,200 per year after 5 years. Linda was paying money just to keep her property. David was being paid by his. That's the difference. A real asset pays you. You don't pay to keep it. The rich never buy real estate just because it's beautiful. They aren't led by emotion. They don't act on hearsay. They only care about one thing. After all expenses, how much cash does this property put in your pocket each month? If the answer is negative, it's not an asset but a liability. It doesn't matter if it's on the beach, in the heart of New York City, or designed by a famous architect. Before you buy a property, ask yourself, does this generate positive monthly cash flow after taxes, fees, maintenance, and management? What's the vacancy rate in the area? Am I being emotionally influenced in this decision? Am I investing or just spending? So what if you still want to invest in real estate, but want to do it wisely? Learn from how the wealthy approach it. They focus on consistent cash flow, not vague hopes of appreciation. They calculate every possible upfront cost, including maintenance, insurance, taxes, management, and vacancies. They often use tech platforms that simplify real estate investing, such as Roofstock lets you buy homes that already have tenants. Fundrise enables you to invest in real estate investment trusts, REITs, online with as little as a few $100s. Arrived Homes allows group investing in rental properties with shared profits. And if you want to own your dream vacation home, no one's stopping you from enjoying life. But let your income-generating assets pay for that dream home, not your hard-earned savings. The wealthy never use their principal to buy liabilities. They use profits from income-generating assets to fund their pleasures. To sum it up, don't assume that real estate automatically equals a good investment. Only when it generates positive cash flow is it a true asset. Think like a business owner. Every cost, every risk must be calculated, and never let emotion dictate your financial choices. So where do you stand in this story? Do you truly own an asset, or are you working overtime to support a beautiful but cash-draining house? Leave a comment below. Don't be afraid to share. Your story might just help someone else avoid a six-figure financial mistake. Let's be honest. Are you keeping most of your money in a traditional savings account just because it feels safe? If you answer yes, at least it doesn't disappear, you're not alone. Millions of people are doing the same thing, especially our parents' generation. They lived through wars, financial crises, or were simply taught that saving is the best way to stay secure. But here's the truth that few people are willing to say out loud. Putting all your money into a regular savings account won't make you rich. It will quietly make you poorer over time. Your money is silently evaporating every day. Do you know the average interest rate on a regular savings account in the US? Less than 0.4% per year. That's not a typo. Meanwhile, inflation has been averaging 3 to 4% annually and has even hit 6 to 8% in recent years. What does that mean? Let's say you have $10,000 in a regular savings account. After 1 year, you earn about $40 in interest, but your money has lost $300 to $400 in real value because of inflation, so you're not gaining. You're politely losing. It's a simple, painful math problem. Suppose you put $50,000 into a regular savings account for 10 years at 0.4% interest. Total interest earned after a decade, around $2,000. But if inflation stays at 3%, you lose over $13,000 in purchasing power. Your real result, a net loss of more than $11,000, even if you never spent a dollar. A true story. Janet and her younger brother. Janet, age 52, lives in Oregon. She kept over $80,000 in a savings account for over a decade. "I just felt safe. No risk," she said. But when she wanted to use that money to buy a retirement home, she realized something painful. That same money had lost nearly 20% of its purchasing power. The house she planned to buy now costs 50% more, while her savings had barely moved. Meanwhile, her younger brother Brian also saved money using a high-yield savings account that paid around 4.5% annually. The result? Brian preserved his money's value and even grew it a little. Both were saving, but with two completely different financial outcomes. Why do so many people still get stuck in regular savings accounts? Because of the mindset. Something is better than nothing. As long as it earns interest, it feels okay. They don't realize that low interest can't beat inflation because of a lack of financial education. Many people have never heard of high-yield savings accounts, money market accounts, or I-bonds. Because traditional banks don't tell you the truth. The longer you keep money in low-interest accounts, the more they profit, not you. There's a big difference between someone who understands money and just stores it. Financially intelligent people don't let their money sit idle in a bank. They assign every dollar a purpose, so it works for them every single day. Money doesn't sleep. The question is whether you're putting it to work. So what's the solution? First, switch to a high-yield savings account. Online banks like Ally, Capital One, or Marcus by Goldman Sachs offer 4% or more. That's 10 times the interest of a regular savings account. They're still FDIC insured, just as safe as traditional banks. Opening one takes only 10 to 20 minutes online. Second, consider a money market account or I-bonds. A money market account is similar to a savings account, but may offer higher interest and flexibility. I-bonds are US government savings bonds that adjust with inflation, ultra-safe and often overlooked. Third, create a smart money allocation strategy. No one's saying you should dump all your cash into risky investments, but don't let all your money just sit and shrink. Try dividing your funds into 3 parts. Emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Keep in a high-yield savings account, long-term savings. Consider I-bonds or certificates of deposit, CDs. Idle money that can be invested. Look into ETFs, index funds, or cash-flowing real estate. The right mindset. Don't save the old-fashioned way. Save smart. Saving isn't bad. But saving without growth or inflation protection means standing still while the world moves ahead. Every dollar you earn should have a job, a goal, and the ability to grow over time. To sum it all up, traditional savings accounts may feel emotionally safe, but they're financially dangerous. Inflation is quietly eating away at your money every single day. More innovative options exist: high-yield savings, I-bonds, and money markets. You deserve a better savings strategy, because your money deserves to be treated with respect. After all these years of hard work, I deserve a brand new modern car. Sound familiar? This is one of the most common thoughts among people in their midlife years, when their career is stable, income is decent, and they feel it's time to enjoy the fruits of their labor. A new SUV with leather seats, fresh car smell, smooth engine, and touchscreen dashboard sounds incredibly appealing. And if you've ever thought that way, don't worry, you're not wrong. You're just being guided by emotion and brilliant marketing. But today, let's break down this so-called reward. The harsh truth: your new car starts losing value when you drive it off the lot. According to US statistics, a new car loses 15 to 20% of its value when it leaves the dealership. Within 5 years, it typically loses 50 to 60% of its original value. For example, you buy a car for $50,000. After 5 years, it's worth only around $22,000. No matter how well you take care of it, that means you lost $28,000 just to enjoy new seats, a quieter engine, and that new car smell for a few months. That's not a reward. That's a beautifully wrapped financial loss. Here's a real story: Peter and Donna. Peter, age 46, lives in Atlanta. After his kids went to college, he decided to treat himself and start living for himself with a brand new SUV. The price? $52,000. He paid $780 monthly for 5 years, totaling nearly $63,000 with interest. At the end of those 5 years, he sold the car for $23,000, a net loss of $40,000. Donna, Peter's former co-worker, also wanted the same model, but made a different decision. She bought a 2-year-old version of the same car with only 12,000 miles. The price? $34,000. It still had warranty coverage and looked almost new. After 5 years, Donna's car was worth about $22,000, but she only lost $12,000. That's just 1/3 of Peter's loss. The hidden costs behind that rolling reward, buying a new car, doesn't just cost you through depreciation. It also comes with higher insurance premiums due to higher car value, registration and taxes, finance charges if you borrow, repair and parts costs, especially with newer tech. In total, that reward car can eat up 30 to 50% of what could have been your investment capital within just a few years. The opportunity cost is massive. Let's say you skip the $50,000 brand new car and buy a 3-year-old version for $30,000 instead. You invest the remaining $20,000 in the S&P 500, earning 7% annually. In 10 years, that $20,000 grows to nearly $40,000. So, what would you rather have? A new car that's worth half as much after 5 years, or an ideally used car plus an investment portfolio growing for your future? How the wealthy see cars: as tools, not trophies. The rich don't buy cars to show off. They buy them to serve a purpose and aim to minimize the cost per mile of every drive. They ask themselves, does this car help me make money or just spend it? If I buy this car, will I still have money to invest in the next 5 years? Am I making this decision based on emotion or financial logic? So how do you treat yourself without hurting your wallet? Follow these principles. Only buy a new car if your investment assets are at least 5 times the price. If you have $300,000 in investments, a $50,000 car is reasonable. If you only have $40,000, buying a $35,000 car sabotages your financial future. Choose a 2 to 3-year-old used vehicle that has already gone through its most significant depreciation. It still has a warranty, looks almost new, and saves you 25 to 35% up front. Plus, Many reliable options with complete inspection reports like Carfax or AutoCheck exist. Pay in full if possible, avoid long-term loans. If you must finance, keep the monthly payment under 15% of your monthly income. Don't let a car lock you into a 60-month financial prison. Always compare the total cost of ownership, not just the sticker price. Factor in taxes, insurance, maintenance, loan interest, parking fees, fuel, etc. When you look at the full life cycle cost, some cars are shockingly expensive to keep. Final thoughts. A brand new car might look like a reward, but it can quietly drain your investment potential. Car depreciation is one of the biggest financial traps for the middle class. The rich don't buy cars to impress, they buy them to move efficiently. Use the profits from cash-flowing assets to reward yourself. Never dip into your principal investment to drive it away. Have you ever dreamed of being your boss? No more answering to anyone. Flexible hours and unlimited income? You're not alone. That's the dream of millions of people, especially after age 40. After years of working for others, who doesn't want to build something of their own? But here's the bitter truth most people won't tell you. Not everyone who starts a business achieves financial freedom. Many people unknowingly build themselves a golden cage. When the dream of being your boss turns into a voluntary prison, according to US statistics, 20% of small businesses fail in the first year. 50% don't make it past 5 years. Even worse, millions of successful businesses leave their owners exhausted, stressed, and unable to take a week off. Why? Because they didn't build a business, they built a job. And worse, it's a job they can't walk away from. A true story, Cheryl and her bakery. Cheryl, age 44, was a marketing director in San Diego. She quit her job to follow her passion, opening a cozy bakery using her mom's secret recipes. 5 years later, her shop had regular customers and steady revenue. But she worked 7 days a week from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. No holidays, no vacations, no time for her kids. Every decision, from ingredients to marketing to bookkeeping, depended on her. Cheryl had no time left to live. Ironically, she used to work 45 hours a week as an employee. Now, as a business owner, it was over 90. The freedom trap many fall into. When you start a business without a plan to eventually step back, you're creating a job that depends entirely on you, a system no one else understands, a business that collapses if you're not there, and something that no one can buy because no one else can run it. That's not a business. It's a self-made financial trap with a fancy title, founder, CEO, boss. The difference between owning a business and owning a money-making system. True entrepreneurs understand this. A business only becomes a real asset when operating without you being there 24/7. Put simply, if you can't take a 2-week vacation and still have your business run smoothly, you're not truly the owner, you're the engine. A contrast story. Keith and his property management company. Keith, age 51, started a property management business in Denver. From day one, he planned his exit. He hired people for all key roles. He documented every process. He used automation software, sending emails, issuing invoices, scheduling repairs, managing client info. After 2 years, Keith could take a 1-month trip to Italy, and his business continued generating income. He built a system, not a burden. So, where do new business owners usually go wrong? Doing everything themselves, without delegating or training, keeping processes in their head instead of documenting them, ignoring automation tools, choosing manual work instead, avoiding hiring out of fear of cost, fear of losing control, and worst of all, not creating an exit strategy from the start. The solution: build your business as if you'll sell it someday. It may sound strange, but this is the mindset of many successful entrepreneurs. When you build something that can be sold or operated without you, it becomes a true asset. Step 1. Identify the 3 core functions. Every small business has 3 main areas: operations, fulfillment, production, service delivery, marketing, sales, attracting and converting customers, finance, accounting, cash flow, financial reports, document systems for each. Think like McDonald's. Anyone can follow a process. Genius isn't required. Step 2. Automate as early as possible. Use Calendly to schedule appointments. Use MailChimp for marketing emails. Use Notion or ClickUp for task and process management. Use QuickBooks to track financials. Every tool you implement buys you more free time. Step 3. Hire and train people so you don't have to be there. Start by outsourcing the tasks you hate or that drain your time. Train your team using the processes you've already documented. Your role should be supervisor, not the one doing everything. Step 4. Run the 2-week vacation test. Once your system is somewhat stable, take a 2-week break without intervening. If your business still runs, congrats, you're on the path to freedom. If it crashes, don't panic. Treat it as a test and improve from there. A question for you. Are you truly the owner or just an employee of your job? If you stop working for 1 week, does revenue stop too? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could help someone else avoid the burnout trap of entrepreneurship. In summary, starting a business isn't wrong, but starting one without an exit plan, that's a trap in disguise. The wealthy build systems. The middle class often builds jobs they can't escape. A business is only an asset if it can make money without depending on you. Have you ever heard advice like this? You should buy whole life insurance. It gives you money when you retire and protects your family if something happens. Plus, the interest rate is guaranteed. Sounds reasonable, right? Protection and investment, a perfect 2-in-1. But hold on, the truth behind this financial product might shock you. Today, we're removing the curtain on one of the most misleading smart assets that has quietly cost countless people hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetimes: whole life insurance. Why do so many believe it's a safe asset? For most people over 35, especially those with families, the sales pitch from insurance agents sounds convincing. Who doesn't want to protect their kids and loved ones? Who wouldn't want a safe investment with steady growth? And when the advisor shows you charts with a guaranteed cash value increasing over time, along with annual dividends and bonuses, you feel reassured. Many people sign contracts worth hundreds of thousands of dollars without reading the fine print, where all the financial traps are hidden. Let's look at the numbers. Example: a 45-year-old man wants to buy a $500,000 whole life insurance policy. If he chooses term life insurance, simple temporary coverage, he'd pay about $400 a year. But that jumps to around $4,000 a year, 10 times for the whole life. Why? Because in addition to coverage, you're also investing. But here's the truth. Most of that extra cost does not go into your investment account. It goes to commissions for the agent, operating expenses of the insurance company, contract management fees, and a massive profit margin for the insurer. A real example: 2 brothers, 2 choices. Meet Paul and Mark, twin brothers from Michigan. Paul chose whole life. He paid $650 a month for 20 years, total $156,000. By year 20, the cash value he could withdraw was $98,000. Yes, he still had $500,000 in death benefit, but he lost $58,000 in cash. Mark chose a 30-year term life policy for just $50 a month with the same $500,000 coverage. The remaining $600 a month he invested consistently in an S&P 500 index fund. After 20 years, Mark's investment had grown to over $380,000, nearly 4 times what Paul had in cash value. Both were insured, but only one truly invested. Where's the trap? There are 3 significant reasons why whole life insurance is one of the most dangerous fake smart assets. Huge upfront costs. There's virtually no cash value in the first 3 to 5 years. If you cancel during this period, you lose most of what you've paid. Low returns. While marketed as earning interest, the actual return is far lower than what you could get from index funds or government bonds. You don't get both. When you die, your family receives the death benefit, but the cash value you've been building for decades, the insurance company keeps it. Most people have no idea this happens because it's buried in hundreds of pages of complex legal language. Even attorneys struggle with it. Why don't the wealthy play this game? According to surveys, most independent financial advisors, the ones who are truly wealthy and informed, don't buy whole life insurance for themselves. Instead, they use the term life to cover specific risk periods, like while paying off a mortgage or raising children. Then they invest the savings into tangible income-generating transparent assets, index funds, stocks, bonds, or cash-flowing real estate. Because they understand a simple principle: insurance is for protection, investing is for growth, and they never mix the two in one bloated, inefficient product designed to benefit the seller more than the buyer. What if you already bought one? Don't panic or cancel immediately if you have a whole life policy and feel uncertain. Start by requesting a detailed illustration from your insurance company. It should include total premiums paid, management and administrative fees, actual interest earned, cash surrender value, what you'd get if you cancel, projected value if you keep it for life. Then compare it to a strategy using term life plus investing the difference. If you're in the first year or two, it might be worth exiting early to minimize losses. If your policy is over 10 years old, consult a fee-only independent financial advisor to help you make the best decision. Conclusion: whole life insurance sounds like a multi-tool, protection and investment in one. But it's a classic example of an asset that looks smart on paper, but quietly drains your wealth every year. It eats your money through hidden fees, commissions, and company profits, leaving you with nothing more than a false sense of financial security. The wealthy understand this. Want protection? Use insurance. Want growth? Make real investments. And they never combine the two in a product designed to benefit the one selling it more than the one buying it. Do you have any gold necklaces at home? How about bracelets, rings, earrings, or pendants? Have you ever heard your grandmother, mother, or aunt say, "Gold is a store of value"? Buying gold jewelry is not just beautiful, it's also a form of savings. Our previous generations believed that deeply, and in times of crisis, recessions, or inflation, storing wealth in gold sounds incredibly rational. But today, let's look at it through the eyes of an investor. Is gold jewelry truly a profit-generating asset? Or is it simply a mix of sentiment, beauty, and massive hidden costs? Gold, a symbol of safety, or a well-disguised misconception? Gold has been viewed as a symbol of wealth, power, and stability for centuries. It doesn't lose value like fiat currency, doesn't go bankrupt like companies, and isn't controlled by governments. So when things get unstable, people often turn to gold as a haven. The problem is, most people don't buy pure gold. They buy gold jewelry, and that's where the asset starts, losing its value. The truth behind investment jewelry: imagine walking into a luxury jewelry store. You see a stunning necklace priced at $3,000. The sales associate smiles and says, "It's 18-karat gold, Italian design with Swarovski crystals." You buy it, thinking it's a significant investment, something beautiful to wear and a hedge for the future. But do you know how much actual gold is in that necklace? About $800 worth. So what's the rest of the $2,200? Design and craftsmanship fees, branding, retail markup, storefront, marketing, and staffing costs, and of course, profit for the shop. According to industry data, when you buy gold in the form of jewelry, 60% to 75% of the price you pay has nothing to do with the actual gold. It's tied up in things you can't resell. The painful truth when it's time to sell Susan, a woman from Dallas, is a perfect example. She spent over 30 years collecting investment-grade gold jewelry, spending more than $25,000. Each piece was carefully chosen, stored securely, and meant to be her financial cushion in retirement. But when she tried to sell it, she was offered just $7,600, less than one-third of what she paid. Why? Because buyers don't care about brand names, design, or sentimental value. They care only about the pure gold weight, the melt value, all the emotion and aesthetics of the jewelry. They hold zero investment value. How the wealthy invest in gold, they don't buy Cartier rings, Chanel necklaces, or boutique bracelets and call it investing. Instead, they buy pure 24-karat physical gold bars, coins, or certified bullion. They purchase from reputable dealers with verified certifications, trade based on actual weight and market price, use secure storage or professional custody services. Some prefer gold ETFs like GLD or IAU, which let them invest in gold prices without holding the physical metal. They know precisely what they're doing, investing, not emotional spending. A simple financial breakdown. Let's say you have $3,000 to invest in gold. You may lose $2,000 to hidden costs if you buy gold jewelry. If you buy 24-karat gold bars, you retain nearly the full value tied to the gold price. If you buy a gold ETF, you avoid storage and can easily sell any time. 10 years later, if gold prices rise by 30%, your jewelry may still sell for half its original price, but your gold bar or ETF would grow exactly 30%. The difference? How smart or emotional your purchase was. Should you still buy gold jewelry? Yes. If you love how it looks, want to treat yourself, or value it for emotional or cultural reasons. But no, if you think it's a sound financial investment, jewelry can bring joy, memories, and meaning, but it rarely brings profit. Labeling it a wealth-building asset is a common misconception. What if you already own a lot of gold jewelry? Inventory everything and calculate the actual gold value. If you still enjoy wearing it, that would be great. Keep enjoying it for what it is. But if you expect to sell it for a gain, be prepared for disappointment. If you want to truly invest in gold, consider 24-karat gold bullion, gold ETFs, reputable gold investment funds. Conclusion: gold jewelry may be a treasure emotionally, but it's a financial trap if you believe it's a serious investment asset. Don't confuse personal meaning with market value. Just like you wouldn't take your wedding photo to a bank for a loan, you shouldn't expect your 18-karat anniversary bracelet to fund your retirement. Be a wise consumer. Know when you're buying for emotion and when you're buying for financial growth. Have you ever lent money to a family member or close friend? Maybe a sibling, a cousin, or someone you've trusted since childhood. They came to you with pleading eyes. Just help me this once. I promise I'll pay you back in a few months. You hesitated for a moment, but your heart overruled your head. You opened your wallet, wired the money, or quietly withdrew your savings. No paperwork, no interest rate, no clear repayment timeline, because you thought, we're family. Why would I need a contract? But the story often doesn't end the way you imagine, from a simple favor to a silent debt. In the beginning, intentions are good. You lend the money to help. They receive it with gratitude. But after a few weeks, then months, there's no mention of repayment. You stay quiet, uncomfortable bringing it up. They stay quiet because they don't have the money. Or maybe they've already forgotten. Then one day, you see them post vacation photos, buy new gadgets, upgrade their car, or throw a big birthday party. Meanwhile, you haven't seen a single dollar come back. From that point on, every interaction becomes awkward. Every glance, every conversation is haunted by the money in the air between you. What began as heartfelt generosity slowly turns into prolonged discomfort. 46% of lenders face this exact situation, according to a survey by Bankrate in the US. 46% of people who lent money to friends or family ended up with bad outcomes. They lost the money, they lost the relationship, or worse, they lost both. And the worst part, you can't take legal action, you can't involve the courts. Because there's no contract, just a promise, now broken. Robert's story. And the painful lesson he learned, Robert, a man from Arizona, is a cautionary tale. When his brother-in-law started a business, Robert offered $30,000 to give him a hand. There was no contract, just a handshake and the promise, "I'll pay you back over the next 2 years." 5 years later, the business failed. The brother-in-law declared bankruptcy. Robert got back only $2,000. The family fell apart. His wife was caught in the middle. Family gatherings became a nightmare. Robert lost the money, his peace, and his dignity, all for trying to help. The problem isn't lending, it's lending without boundaries. Helping loved ones isn't wrong, it's admirable. But turning money into a vague, invisible thread in a relationship is dangerous. Remember, money has no emotions, but people do. And it's the emotional ambiguity around money that tears relationships apart. Why the wealthy rarely lend blindly. Wealthy people understand something most don't. There's no line between money and relationships unless you define the rules up front. They still help loved ones, but with structure. If they give a gift, they say, "This is for you, no need to pay me back." If it's an investment, they write clear contracts, profit-sharing terms, risk disclaimers. If it's a loan, they require a signed agreement, a due date, and a late payment clause. Why? Because they know nothing destroys a bond faster than an unclear financial deal. So how do you help without falling into the trap? Scenario 1. If you can afford to give it, be clear. Consider this a gift. You don't need to pay it back. Our relationship matters more than the money. This one sentence removes pressure on both sides. No debt, no guilt, no tension. Scenario 2. If it's a loan, put it in writing. I'd feel better if we had a clear agreement. That way we both stay comfortable. I don't want money to come between us. Use simple tools like Zuru or Loan Builder to create digital loan contracts, set reminders, and even collect signatures. It's not overcomplicating, it's protecting the relationship. Scenario 3. If they're starting a business, consider investing instead of lending. Rather than lending, I'd prefer to invest. If it works out, we share the profits. If not, I treat it as a lesson. This mindset, investing, not lending, makes expectations clearer for both sides. You're partners, not a creditor and a debtor. Don't sacrifice your financial future just to be the good guy in the moment. Your intentions might be pure, but your protection should be smart. Because family can miss payments, friends can make excuses, and goodwill can turn into resentment. Having paperwork doesn't hurt relationships, it protects them, it avoids misunderstandings, it ensures fairness, it builds trust. Are you carrying a silent debt? Maybe it's $500, maybe it's $2,000, maybe more. You lent someone money with no paperwork, and now it's been months, maybe years. No sign of repayment. You're not alone, but don't let this mistake repeat. In summary, lending money to loved ones without a contract may feel warm and generous, but it's a financial trap that quietly drains your wealth and damages your relationships. You lose money, the bond weakens, trust erodes, and worst of all, you blame yourself for doing the right thing. From now on, be a smarter giver. Give freely, but only when it's intentional and clear. Lend formally, with transparent terms and documentation. Invest with mutual understanding, where both sides share risk and reward, because relationships last longer when money is respected and kept in its rightful place. We've just peeled back the layers on 7 types of assets that seem smart, but quietly pull you away from financial freedom. A beautiful home doesn't generate cash flow. A safe savings account eroded by inflation. A brand new car that loses value the moment you drive it. A business labeled as freedom that turns you into an unpaid employee. A shiny insurance policy packed with hidden fees. A sparkling piece of jewelry that holds emotional value but little market value. And a personal loan without paperwork that can destroy close relationships. Sound familiar? You've probably owned one or several of these so-called smart assets. And if that's true, you're not alone. The truth is, We were taught wrong from the start. From a young age, we were fed beliefs like buying a house is the surest way to build wealth. Saving money is the safest thing you can do. Owning a business means total freedom. A new car is a well-deserved reward. Investment-linked insurance is the perfect all-in-one solution. Gold jewelry is the best way to store value. Helping family doesn't need contracts or conditions. But what's the reality? The wealthy don't follow those rules. They play a different game. They don't care how rich they look. They care about cash flow, leverage, and financial performance. Wealth doesn't come from assets, but from how you think about them. The rich don't view assets with emotion. They see them as tools, parts of a broader, intentional strategy. What about the poor or middle class? They buy a house to say they own one. They buy cars to keep up with their friends. They leave money idle in the bank because it feels safer. They launch businesses without a way out. They buy insurance they don't understand. They buy gold because the elders said so. They lend money without boundaries because they fear hurting relationships. That's not investing. That's liabilities disguised as assets. But now, you know the difference. And that knowledge is the beginning of freedom. Not everyone is ready to hear this. Some will reject it. Some will cling to their old beliefs. They'll say, but my parents did all that and turned out fine. But here's the thing, you don't want to just be fine. You want freedom. And absolute freedom comes from mastering your cash flow, knowing where every dollar goes, and rejecting shiny things that look good but drain you inside. So now, what will you do? After this video, you have 3 choices. Ignore it, nod in agreement, then return to the same financial pattern society trained you to follow. Reject it. Defend your old beliefs, even if they haven't worked. Wake up, pause, reflect, re-examine the assets you currently hold, and begin restructuring your finances with clarity and strategy. If you choose that third path, congratulations. You've just stepped into a new financial mindset, one where you're no longer trapped by fake smart assets, but actively building real wealth. So here's your challenge. Right after this video, do 3 things. Comment below. Of the 7 assets we discussed, which trap have you fallen into? Be honest. Your story might save someone else. Pick one bad asset you own and plan to get rid of or replace it in the next 30 days. You don't have to do everything at once. Start with one. One change leads to another. Share this video with at least one person you care about, someone who might repeat the same financial mistakes you made. Action creates change. Knowing without doing is the same as not knowing. Because real wealth is quiet. You don't need to show off. You don't need luxury cars or 6-figure watches. True wealth means having a stable income without trading your time, not worrying every time inflation or utility prices rise, being able to help others responsibly without getting hurt, and most of all, living life on your terms, not on a paycheck's terms. So let me ask you, do you want to look rich or be truly rich? Don't let fake smart assets trap you in a financial loop forever. Don't let the lovely house, the new car, the shiny insurance plan, or that glittering bracelet keep you from the freedom you deserve. Start today, act now, and if you're ready to take control, comment below with the phrase financial freedom. I'll be reading every response, and I believe you've got this. Are you ready to break free from the trap of fake wealth? Will you act or let another year pass, just like the last? The choice is yours. See you in the following video. I'll walk you through building a real asset portfolio that grows your wealth silently but powerfully. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe if this video opened your eyes. Thank you for watching until the end. Here's to a clear, conscious, and truly wealthy financial journey.